8 years ago today, at the University of Cape Coast, one moment changed everything.
Story that broke over the weekend, the sad tale of a student hall week celebration that turned sour as participating halls engaged in a brawl that left 3 in critical condition. Emmanuel cannot walk after he was stabbed during the brawl.
A brutal attack, a life hanging in the balance, and a battle that was only just the beginning.
8 years ago on this fateful day, I had an incident on UCC campus which left me paralyzed for some years, and I would like to share my story. My name is Emmanuel, popularly known as Nickel, and I would like you guys to journey with me through my experience, the pain, the ordeal that I went through. This is not just a story about my pain and then everything I went through, but then it's also a story about me showing resilience and then finding strength in places that I never felt that I could find. So it was on a fateful day on 17th March. It was actually a Friday. I was on campus and then my mom called me that my brother, who had gained admission and at this other college, was not feeling well. So if I could get a chance, I should go and then check up on him. Well, I said I would. So I gathered some stuff, got some medications and then some provisions that I'll go give to him. But then it was after lectures, so I couldn't go there right after because I knew they had prep. So I had to wait till 9. That was after their prep time so that I could actually go there. So I went there around 9 p.m., actually made a trip to Adesado, saw him. He was actually not feeling well, but then I gave him the stuff, tried to encourage him. He was probably homesick. That's why I was feeling that way. So I actually got to see him and then I had to go back to campus. On my way back, my friend called me and then told me to come over to his place to spend time with him. And also, he had a feeling that something might happen to me. I don't know, he just called me and told me that he feels something might happen to me. Friend's name was Efree, Starface, as we used to call him. Said he feels something might happen to him, so if I could, I should just come to his place. His hostel was around the stadium side. Well, I wanted to, but when I got to the first gate, after coming from Accra, there's this first gate. I think there was no entry or something. I didn't know what was going on. So we proceeded to the second gate. I was in Ogwa Hall then. That was where the second gate around that side, old site, Ogwa Hall. So I went back to campus and then, I mean, the place looked a bit messed up. It was Hall Week. ATL was having their Hall Week and then they had invited Kunti and I think Vandals from Legon to help with their celebration. So the place was a bit messed up. So I asked what had happened here. And they said the ATL people wanted to actually come in, I think for a morale session or something. And then the hall boys denied them. And then they got pissed. So I was actually standing there, I mean, talking to my friends at the front. It was all week. I mean, freshers were experiencing the atmosphere and all that. So, I mean, there were a lot of people around. And all of a sudden, we saw this stampede from ATL. From ATL, you would have to go to Adeshi before Ugwa. So there was this stampede from ATL coming through to Ugwa. It was really scary. And then they started raining stones. So, I mean, just raining stones as they were coming. So we were trying to like seek shelter from all that was going on, the stones and all that. I think someone also tipped off the police people and then they came around. So when they came around, they couldn't bring the situation down. And they had to resort to throwing tear gas so that the people would actually disperse. And the tear gas was pretty awful and I have asthma. We couldn't really stand and everyone was trying to rush into the hall. There was like little to no space for all of us to just rush in. So some of us made our way to the other side of the hall. There's this crab statue, a fountain in front of the hall. There's a gate that leads to the back of the hall. So that's where most of us found ourselves. So we were there for some time. I mean, I was not there alone. I knew I was there with other people. This was around, it was really late, around 12 p.m. So we were just there. Then suddenly I felt something hit my back, a very, very sharp pain. And then I fell to the ground. So the first thing that came to mind was, okay, there's this passageway at the market, ATL market, that you can actually use to get to the back of Uguaho where some of us were. I mean, where some of us had run to because of the tear gas. And then I felt that pain and then I fell down. I actually wanted to get back up. I mean, if I fall down, I know how to get back up, but then it wasn't working. I felt really numb. I didn't know what was going on. I really wanted to get up, but then I couldn't get up. Then I saw this guy who was standing over me. I actually wanted to tell him that I'm a student of UCC. I'm in Ogwa. I'm not a part of all this. But he didn't seem to want to listen to me. So started pouring crazy on my leg, about to burn me. He wanted to burn me for whatever reasons best known to him. I was even trying my best to plead, but to no avail. So I just faded out. I think everything was just too much. I just faded out, and then I woke up at the UCC hospital. When I woke up at the hospital, I couldn't move. It was just my neck. I could just rotate my neck, but then everything from this level down was really numb. It felt weird, really weird. So I called one of the nurses and then I asked her. It was him actually. I asked him if he had done something to me, if he had administered any drug to me for me to feel that way, because I couldn't feel anything from my chest downwards. And it was like someone had stabbed me at my back, I think below my neck, and then it had rendered me paralyzed. Actually, it was a lot to take in. I mean, I started crying. I burst out in tears because I didn't get what was going on, and I was struggling to get up because I didn't want to believe it. And he told me that he's using this needle to prick my legs to see if I'll get a reaction. I actually did not feel anything. I was like, I might probably not walk again. I mean, that really damaged me. I was so hurt, and then he said I should call my parents. So it was around 12 thereabouts. I called my dad, called him several times. He didn't pick up, but then when I actually did, I told him about the situation. I was like, Dad, I've been stabbed and I can't walk. I'm dying. Please come get me. And he thought it was a dream because he told me to just pray about it and then sleep, and then he hung up. So I had to call him again and then actually tell him that no, it's actually true. I've been stabbed. It's not a dream, and then he needs to come get me. Then I heard my mom scream in the background and all that. So fast forward, I also wanted to get my roommates. I needed my friends to know what was going on. So I sent for some guys to get my roommates. But then I think the situation had still not gone down. So he was actually scared to come. It took a while before later on he came. He saw me in that position, and then he was with me till my parents actually got to Cape Coast. Well, news of my injury had actually spread, so my friends came to see me, including the one that actually told me to come over to his place, and I had this intuition that something was going to happen to me. He came, and then I was transferred in an ambulance to Interbeton, so we went there with my parents. Now when we went there, I think there was no neurologist at the time. He had traveled. I think there are not many in the country, so there was none there at the moment. So they made a call to Korle-Bu. Korle-Bu couldn't pick up, and then they made another call to 37, and then 37 picked up. So I was to be transported to 37 for further medical attention. Well, in my head, I knew that when I get there, something good was going to happen. So I was in the ambulance with my friend. I think there were two other friends with me, Casey and then Sammy, together with Starface, a free. So I was hopeful. Then we finally made our way to 37. We went there. After we had reached 37, I was placed in the emergency ward. I was actually given little to no attention when I got there. I mean, I was not really being taken care of. I mean, I had been stabbed. It was an emergency, but I was actually not treated like one. So I was there for, I think, a day or two. And then my aunt, I think she had some connections with Joy News, so she contacted them, and then they came around. It was after Joy News had appeared, and then I had this interview with them. That was when I I got some sort of attention.
Yes, you hope you'll be able to regain movement of your legs, sir.
Oh, I'll walk again. Very soon I'll walk. It's a gradual process. I'll walk again.
Emmanuel Kwashi, confident of walking again. Flanked by his parents, he looks unhappy as nurses at the hospital attend to him. The emergency ward is where he has spent the past few days. Emmanuel recalls returning from a visit to Adisadel College, an attempt to find a safe haven to avoid tear gas fired by officers.
I was outside seeking for shelter and the police people came. And also they started to use tear gas, and I'm asthmatic, so I was trying to get away from beside the guy. I was going down there. So I was there for a while, about an hour or two, and the vandals people, I think when it was around 11, they were leaving. So I think Ogo and Casford were chasing them out. So I saw that as an opportunity to enter the hall. So when I was going, someone just stabbed me, and I just sat, and I couldn't feel my legs again. I still can't feel them.
Emmanuel may not have survived if not for the intervention of a friend who identified him as a resident of Ogwaho.
I didn't see the person, but the person also wanted to burn me. It's when he stabbed me, he was pouring kerosene on my legs, and I was trying to yell that, oh, I'm in Ogwa, I'm not part of them. So I think a friend of mine also came to my defense and was like, oh, I'm also in Ogwa, so they should leave me. So that's what happened.
So after the interview, I was sent to a ward. I think I've forgotten the ward, but I was sent to this ward. That was when I actually got a bed and some place to be to get medical attention. Life in 37 was not easy. I thought I was going to be operated on, but I was actually not operated on. My injury, how do I call it? The place that was stabbed, it was just sutured. There was no operation, nothing. Well, my dad pushed for them to send me outside for further care, if I should say, to India or probably South Africa. I didn't have my visa or a passport even, so I think he needed a referral letter. But then he was told that what they are doing in America and then Europe is the same thing they are doing here, so there's no need for me to go outside. But then I was not operated on, nothing. So I was just there. I couldn't feel anything from my neck downwards. It was really painful, and also because of the situation, I had to wear Pampers, and they inserted this thing I call catheter into my private part to help me pee, because without that I was not going to be able to, dispose of urine and all that. So I was there for I think 2 weeks, and I was told I was going to be discharged. It actually came as a shock to me because I was surprised. 2 weeks, nothing. I was just on medications, and I was going to be discharged. I had taken some MRIs and some scans, so I thought, something had to be done, but I was told I was supposed to be discharged. And they were actually serious about it, so we actually planned on leaving. And then my suture, where they stitched, it actually got opened again, so they had to come back and then stitch it all over again. And then that gave me some additional days, after which they still said I had to leave. So we were also preparing to leave again. Then I had another issue. I was running too much, so they had to also detain me and then check to, help me out with that issue too. Well, in 37, I had a nurse there who actually took good care of me. Sorry, her name was Deborah. I don't know where she is now, but then she actually really helped me. She would stay by my side till late, take care of me, change me when I messed up myself and all that. She really helped me. Fast forward, we had to go because they said they needed their bed, and I was fine. I think they felt I was going to die, so then they had to dispose of me for me to go home to actually go and die, because I didn't get why I was being discharged. It was too early, so I was discharged. But then I was told to come back for physio. So we had an aunt in Ofanko, Mama Emilia, who housed us. My parents were they were just around when we didn't have anywhere to go. So she actually welcomed us into her home. So from there, that's where we started physio. So my very first day at physio, it was actually a terrible experience for me. I was supposed to be strapped to this bed, and then I would be how should I put, like, the bed would be inclined up for me to stand, but then the person that was supposed to strap my chest and my knees, he forgot to strap my knees. So when the belt was placed on me, I fell down, and then it was really, really sad, and I decided not to go again because it was hurtful. That I was convinced to continue is going to help me and all that. So I started physio again, and then it was actually going on well. Well, when we were home at Ofanko, I used to be drinking a lot of water, eating plenty, urinating plenty all the time. Just most of the time I was urinating. I wanted to pee. Most of the time I needed to pee. Most of the time I needed to pee. So we actually were scheduled for a review. So I told my mom about it, and then she was like, when we get to the doctor's place, I should inform him about it. So, which I actually did. We went to his place, and then I informed him. The doctor told me that he said when he eats, he also poops. So he doesn't see what's wrong with me drinking water and then urinating. I tried to explain to him that I can actually drink, a full box of bottled water. I can drink it like in 5 minutes, and then I'll still be thirsty. I'll be urinating. It was like, well, like he said, when he eats, he poops. So he doesn't see any issue with it. Then we left it at that, and then we left his office. So after our review, my friend of my dad's, he's in Australia, a doctor. He had a doctor friend in Korle-Bu. So he advised my dad to go to Korle-Bu to go see him for medical advice. So dad actually left. When we were in the doctor's office, he left. So when we were done, we came back, and then we had to go with him to Korle-Bu to go and see the doctor friend of his. So when we got there, we actually went through some procedures, and then we finally got to see him. When we got to see him, I was told to have my vitals checked, my BP, and then my blood sugar. And after I had my blood sugar tested, the doctor asked if I had diabetes or if we had any history of diabetes in our family. And then I said no, because none of my family members or relatives were diabetic. Well, he said my blood sugar is way, way high, around 37, and that's really like way above normal. So it needs to be checked. Well, I didn't believe it, and my mom too was actually confused too. So she went to the washroom with me, and then I had to pee, and then she tasted it, and then she started crying, saying it was too sugary, and that is true. I don't know how, but then I actually had diabetes then. I didn't know how at the time. So I was supposed to be admitted, but there were no beds. So I was placed on drips, and then the drips were actually like flushed down my system. They were being squeezed into my system, like four before it was actually placed on me, and then allowed to drip normally. The normal way, the one that would drop like small. So I was there for some time till I think at dawn, where there was an opening where I got admitted to medical ward 2. So in Korle-Bu, I was admitted because of my diabetes. So on admission, that's when I realized that the doctors actually made me aware. They asked for my history, the drugs I was taking and all. And I told them about this drug, prednisolone. I was taking 6 tablets morning, 6 tablets evening in Korle-Bu. And they said that's what gave me the diabetes. It was way too much. It was like way too much for my system. So they had to treat it for it to calm down for me. Well, in Korle-Bu, things were actually a bit tough. I had bed sores all over, and then because of the diabetes, they were not healing up. And my parents, now that we were transferred to Korle-Bu, going from Ofanko to Korle-Bu was a bit of a distance. So my parents had to just lodge in the car. They hardly went home. They did everything in the car, cooked for me in the car. Sometimes they actually stressed out a bit. Not showering like very well and all that due to the distance, and they had to be there for visiting. I think visiting was around 5:30 a.m., so they had to be there for morning visiting and then evening visiting. Because of traffic too, they didn't want to go far. Well, I really suffered a lot. I was still in Pampers. I couldn't feel anything. I was there alone, bed sores, and I had grown lean, really lean, and I was actually not well. There were times that I was at my lowest, that I tried unaliving myself because I felt it was way too much. I mean, seeing my parents struggle, I mean, they also grew lean, so it was actually very hurtful. But I had very good doctors there who took care of me. The nurses there too were very nice, and then they took care of me. While I was there, I was admitted based on the diabetes issue, but then I had to start physio too. So I was taken to the stroke unit. Yeah, that's where I started my physio. Those days were very nice, and those were the days I actually felt happy because I was mostly indoors. I was never going out. So when my dad comes for me and then transfers me to the wheelchair and then takes me out, it was actually very nice because I get to see people, I get to see the atmosphere, the skies. Those are the only times I got to go out. So it was actually a nice experience. Then fast forward, we had to be discharged. I think I was at Korle-Bu for quite a while, for some months actually. Yeah, I really wanted to go. I really wanted to be discharged, but then they wanted to bring the blood sugar really down before. So, but then fast forward, I was discharged, and then we had to come back home. I was really excited because I'd missed my family back here, my relatives, my little sister, and everyone here. So, but before I came, I think I had some visitations too from my lecturers and my friends. I mean, people actually came over to sympathize with me at the hospital. So we were discharged, and then we actually planned, and then we had to make our way back home. So we finally made it back home, and then at our place, we were upstairs, and then Dad had to be carrying me, and then he was actually tired, so we had to go to my cousin's place for the time being. And I started physio at Efia Kwanta. It was actually going great. I actually made a fast recovery. I could actually feel some movement in my legs. I could stand with support and all that. I recovered really fast as compared to what the doctor said, because back then I was told I would never walk or be able to move any part of my limb, so I should get used to a wheelchair. And then I had actually gained some mobility in my arms, even though it was not that strong. The power in my arms was not that strong. I had gained some strength there, and then in my lower limbs too. So I started physio, like I said, it went on great. I improved, and then 2018 I wanted to go back to school. I had missed school and I actually wanted to complete, but then I was not really well. I still couldn't sit up. I had to sit with pillows stacked, plenty pillows stacked at my back for support and all that. I actually bought Legon forms. I got admission, but then my mom advised against it, saying I would suffer because I couldn't sit. How would I sit in class? Who was going to take care of me and all that? So, and I was still in the diapers too, that adult diapers. So it was understandable. Then in 2019, I applied for tech, and then I actually had tech, but then my parents were, once again, they said it was far. In case of any emergencies, it would be hard to reach me and all that. But I really wanted to go because my brother had caught up with me level-wise, and I didn't want him to go ahead of me. So my dad went back to UCC, and I think he had a chat with the authorities. So the dean of students, the then dean of students, my hall master, the administrators, all of them, they came here and then convinced me to come back to UCC. So I agreed. I really wanted to go back to school. I agreed. I mean, the thought of going back actually scared me, going back to where it all happened and going there to see familiar faces, and then not going back as who I was, but then going back in a wheelchair and all that. It was a lot for me to handle. But then I went back, and I went to graduate hostel. Then my friend Starface, Ife, God bless him so much. He actually took the time to come be with me, opted to be my roommate. He was taking care of me, taking me to class, pushing me in the wheelchair and all that. The first sem that I went, and in the second semester, I got a mobility scooter that was aiding me. My movements going through and fro from class and all that. I was using the mobility scooter, so I think that released some of the burden from him. And going back to school, it wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be. Yes, on my part, doing things for myself. I learned how to bath alone, how to use the washroom, and all those things. I had to learn how to do all those things, but it wasn't stressful. I actually had good people around me, my roommates, Sifa, Starface, Eric, AB. So I had good people around me. I had good friends, Evans, all those around me who actually helped me throughout my stay there. And then my lecturers too. I had good lecturers who took the time to talk to me. They did not pressure me at all. I was moving at my own pace. It was really good. It was not as bad as I would have hoped it to be. It was actually a good experience, and I made good friendships, good relationships. It was not bad. It was not bad actually. It was stressful sometimes, but then I actually made it. And then I went back in 2019, yes. And then in 2023, by the special grace of God, I actually graduated with second class honors, the honors of second class upper. And it was nice. My graduation, and it was actually nice. I actually did it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to be in that position and then actually graduate. It was a lot. It was not a smooth ride, but then I actually did it. I made it.
You're 6 years. Doctor of HR.
And fast forward, I completed, and then I had to start my service. With the service too, there were some ups and downs. Where I got posted to, when they said they can't take me because of my condition and all that. It was sad actually, but I had a cousin in TTU in the IT department who opted to take me in. So that's why I had my service in TTU for 1 full year, and I was done. And after service, I've started physio all over again. I had to break because of school. I couldn't really mix them together. My physio schedule and my class schedule, it always used to mix up, so I couldn't. So I had to pause the physio. So I actually lost some gains, but then now I've started the physio again, and now I go alone. First, I had my parents take me, my sibling, but now, by the special grace of God, I go by myself, and I add the gym to occasionally. I hit the gym to keep fit, so I gym, and then I also attend the physio combined, and that's what's keeping me. Now I'm home, searching for a job. It's actually really hard because when many people see me, they feel employing me is actually, they feel like they are stressing me, but then me not getting employment is actually stressing me out. It's not easy being in this condition and then searching for a job. It's a lot. People feel they are stressing you. They feel you might not be able to perform hard and all that. There's been numerous job applications that I've applied for, and it all comes back negative. So I'm here. I'm still here. But I thank God for everything that I've been through. I had someone once tell me that I'm the strongest person she has ever known. And frankly speaking, I don't feel that way. Sometimes I feel I'm not strong. Sometimes I feel I'm weak because sometimes I really hit my lowest point and keep asking myself why. Why did this happen to me? I was not the only one there. So why did this happen to me and all that? But I've come to understand some things, that everything happens for a reason, and then God is true. I wouldn't have been here if not for the grace of God and my faith. I have faith that I'm going to work. Like I said in my first interview I had with Joy News, that I'm going to work. I know I'm going to work.
Hope you'll be able to regain movement of your legs, sir.
Oh, I'll walk again. Very soon I'll walk. It's a gradual process. I'll walk again.
A long time, but I'm definitely coming back on my feet. Yeah, so that's the assurance. And then I want to use this opportunity to actually encourage people out there. See, I don't know what you are going through or the stuff that might might bring you down or might dampen your spirits, but then just use me as an example. I've been through it. Like, I've been through worse. Like, I've been through a lot. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't do anything. It's a miracle I'm here, seated in front of you. If you look at me like this and then no one tells you that I've been stabbed or I can't really mobilize, you wouldn't believe it. But by the special grace of God, doctors told me I wouldn't be here. Some said I was going to die. Some said I would be bedridden for the rest of my life. But then here I am. I've managed to go to school and I've completed. I did well. And I'm here, still alive. And then I know I'm going to get better. So I want to use this opportunity to just encourage someone, anyone out there, no matter what you're going through. It may seem dark. I mean, my dad used to tell me that there will be a time that will come that I would never, ever remember the pain that I was going through. And it's actually true. I do remember that I went through pain, but I don't remember the exact pain I was going through. It turns out he was right. I mean, nothing lasts forever, okay? So just keep on praying, really important. I mean, put God first. Without God, I would not be here because science told me I wouldn't be here. I mean, I placed my belief and my trust in God, and then now here I am. So I want to just encourage someone out there that just keep on praying. Everything is just going to work out fine. I mean, it may look like it wouldn't, but then it actually would. Look at me. I'm here, and then I'm really, really happy to be here. And I know that I am going to improve. So this is me. This is my story, 8 years on. I just wanted to update you guys on everything that's been happening. So thank you, and then you'll be hearing more from me because I'll be posting more about my life, how I'll go about my daily activities and all. Thank you all for having the time to listen, and I love you all. Bye.